In the history of the NFL, no individual single-season stat has been more celebrated than a running back breaking the 2,000-yard rushing barrier. It happens very rarely, and when it does, it becomes a special moment for not just the player, but for the team, fans, the city, and the entire NFL. Saquon Barkley is the most recent addition to this club, after reaching the mark in 2024, and he was rewarded by being put on the Madden cover showcasing his most famous move, the backwards hurdle. Man, EA will do everything except make the game better. For this video, I thought I'd go back and look at every 2,000-yard rusher and see how their careers went after that peak season. As of the time of this video, 9 players in NFL history have made it into the illustrious 2,000-yard club. To start us off, we gotta go back to 1973, when O.J. Simpson did what no one had ever done before. This is still easily the craziest one. In an era where the game was more brutal physically, and with 2 less regular season games than everyone else on this list, O.J. Simpson became the first player to ever eclipse the 2,000-yard rushing season. He was 26 at the time. The following year was a surprising step back in production. O.J. did play in all 14 games and did lead the league in carries, but he had way less yards, only amassing just over 1,100. Now, he did deal with a knee injury, and that was the big reason why he had that setback. And the following year would show everyone just how talented this guy was.
Ferguson dumps it to O.J. Simpson, and there he goes. Across the 30, across the 20, the 10, he'll score! Oh, baby, now, here we go again.
He rushed for around 200 less yards, but he was a much bigger factor in the pass game, which led him to having 2,243 all-purpose yards, and almost double the amount of total touchdowns compared to that 1973 season. In some ways, this was a more impressive season than his 2,000-yard season. O.J. went on to have one more season leading the league in rushing before injuries and age caught up to him, and his last season of pro football came in 1979 at the age of 32. When he retired, he was considered the greatest back of his era. Then, after a successful career in acting, this dude's life went drastically downhill, and now he's more famous for the most notorious murder trial of our lifetimes compared to what he did on the football field. For 11 years, O.J. Simpson remained the only player to reach 2,000 rushing yards in a season. Then, in 1984, he was joined by Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson easily has the most insane start to a career of any running back in league history. He first led the NFL in rushing yards as a rookie. Then he set the all-time record the following year, rushing for 2,105 yards. 1984 was just an insane year in the NFL. This dude did not win MVP because Dan Marino had the greatest passing season in NFL history, while this dude had the greatest rushing season in NFL history. After eclipsing 2,000 yards, like O.J., Dickerson had a down year by the standard he had set, posting career lows across the board. And like O.J., he bounced back the following season, rushing for over 1,800 yards. This meant that he had led the league in rushing 3 of the 4 seasons he played. He would lead the league in rushing one more time with a different team in 1988. And again, like O.J., this dude's career was derailed around the age of 30 due to injuries and just a decrease in ability. Luckily, his post-NFL career is not like O.J. Dickerson was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1999 and is considered one of the all-time greats. Now, it's about that time of year where the excitement for next football season begins to build. I can't even watch too much training camp footage because it makes me impatient. So, while I wait, I'm gonna get myself out to a few summer events to pass the time. Low-key, I'm considering this Nas with the Atlanta Symphony concert, which I think is in July. And I'm gonna score myself some tickets through SeatGeek, today's video sponsor. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day available on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. The NFL schedule is out now, which means football is right around the corner. Plus, the MLB is back. And SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale from 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good and red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you know I came through for you guys. Use my code KTO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with code KTO. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. and have the code automatically downloaded to your account. Shout out to SeatGeek. Now let's get back to the video. 13 years after Eric Dickerson became the second running back to rush for 2,000 yards, Barry Sanders became the third. Entering his 9th season, Barry had rushed for at least 1,100 yards every single year of his career, and he had led the league in rushing 3 times. Then, in 1997, he had achieved his magnum opus. Barry went on to take home co-MVP as he rushed for 2,053 yards on a stunning 6.1 yards per carry. Perhaps the most stunning fact around this feat wasn't that Barry Sanders reached 2,000 yards in a season, but rather how short his career was following the accomplishment. After one more solid season in 1998, Barry shocked everybody by retiring in the middle of his prime. The response initially was very negative. The thing was, we rarely saw athletes in the midst of their prime, still dominating, decide to retire like this. This was covered in a documentary a few years back made about him. Ultimately, the fans came around, and Barry is one of the most beloved former players in the NFL. Now, the NFL world didn't have to wait for long to witness the next 2,000-yard rusher. In fact, the following season, it happened again, this time by Terrell Davis. After being drafted as a lowly 6th-round pick, Terrell Davis quickly impressed the coaches and became the starter, and every year he got better and better. In 1997, while Barry Sanders reached 2,000 yards, Terrell Davis put together a 4-game playoff run that was about as legendary as it gets, averaging 145 yards and 2 touchdowns per game. The following year, he continued to dominate, rushing for 2,000 yards in 1998, and again dominating in the playoffs.
And Terrell again for at least 19 and more than that inside the 10, touchdown Denver.
By this point, Terrell Davis had already put himself in the conversation with the all-time greats, which made the following seasons that much more heartbreaking. Injuries quickly derailed his career. He only appeared in 17 games from 1999 through 2001, getting injured in all 3 of those seasons. And then he made the decision to retire in 2002. But the NFL did pay respects for what this dude had accomplished during those 4 seasons. Despite how short this dude's career was, he was still made a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which just goes to show that if you have 2 unbelievable, incredible seasons with 2 amazing playoff runs, you can be a Hall of Famer. It took just 5 years for the 5th player to join this club. This time, it was achieved by Jamal Lewis, the Ravens' battering ram during the early 2000s. Jamal Lewis entered the league an early 1st-rounder and immediately played a pivotal role in the Ravens' Super Bowl run in 2000. 3 years later, Lewis had his legendary 2,000-yard season.
A steady diet? I'd say so. Heavy on the carbs. Touchdown.
In week 2 of 2003, Jamal Lewis shredded the Browns for 295 yards. And when he played them again later in the season, he rushed for 205 yards, totaling 500 rushing yards in 2 games against Cleveland that season. After an amazing regular season, the way things ended in the playoffs were rather surprising. Lewis rushed for just 35 yards on 2.5 yards per carry in a loss versus the Titans. He was still a beast power back for the rest of his career, and I was actually a big fan of his. As a Browns fan, when he came to our team in 2007 and dominated, I loved this guy. But what I found surprising was he made just 1 Pro Bowl in his career, that 2,000-yard season, and more than half his seasons, he had less than 4 yards per carry, or he missed the entire year due to injuries. Now, it took another 6 years for the 6th back to accomplish this feat. And how many yards did he get over 2,000? 6. Too many 6s involved with this one. But anyways, Chris Johnson first made a spark when he dropped the fastest 40 in combine history, and early on, the NFL learned the hard way just how fast this guy was.
Yeah! Watch out! Johnson! Speed!
By year 2, he had achieved the legendary 2,000-yard season. Not only that, he also pulled in another 500 yards through the air. That combined number of yards is still the all-time highest in NFL history, which just went on to show how versatile and explosive this dude was in his prime. And he's the only player on this list to have his 2,000-yard season a part of his nickname, CJ2K. After 2009, Chris Johnson didn't put up another season over 1,400 rush yards, but he did eclipse the 1,000-yard mark 4 more consecutive seasons after 2009. It really wasn't until he left Tennessee where his career took a noticeable dip. He played out 2014 to 2017 as a backup before his career came to an end. The best 3 seasons of his career were his first 3. Now, it was just 3 seasons after Chris Johnson's explosive year in 2009 that we got the absolutely ridiculous 2012 season by Adrien Peterson. Peterson came into the league like a freight train that came off the tracks. For 4 straight years to start his career, he was one of the best backs in the NFL, and he continued that trajectory into year 5, but he tore his ACL and MCL late in the 2011 season. Now, anyone who's dealt with a serious knee injury knows just how brutal the recovery can be. An ACL tear alone can take 6 to 12 months to recover, and especially for elite athletes, to come back and be close to the same player that you were is actually pretty rare. But for Adrien Peterson, not only did he come back a better player, it was as if he was a superhuman version of himself.
He's gonna go all the way! Touchdown!
Peterson put up an eye-popping 131 yards a game on 6 yards a carry. Not only did he win Comeback Player of the Year, he also won MVP. After that, Peterson continued to excel for a few more seasons, including when he led the league in yards and touchdowns in 2015. But other than that, his career post-2012 is more known for 2 things. Number 1, he's had off-the-field issues. Obviously, in 2014, he was suspended most of the season due to child abuse charges. And then his post-NFL career has been pretty rough. He's dealt with law issues. It's been a tough time for this guy. And the second thing is, this dude really was gonna play until they would not let him play anymore. The dude spent 2017 to 2021 on 6 different teams. And other than 2018 and 2019, where he did pretty well for Washington, it was mostly not that great. By the end, he wasn't effective at all. Now, in terms of his play on the field in his prime, everyone who witnessed it will remember just how special that 2012 season was. By this point, you really begin to notice some of the weird coincidences that are popping up. It took 5 years for the 5th running back to join this club, and it took 6 years for the 6th back to do the same. And crazy enough, 8 years after Adrien Peterson's 2012 season, the 8th running back to achieve this feat was Derrick Henry. In 2019, Henry had officially achieved superstar status after leading the league in rushing attempts, yards, and touchdowns. Then he put together that spectacular 3-game playoff run. This all set the stage for that epic 2020 season.
Breaking free, 20, off to the races. They won't catch him. Touchdown.
His rise from 2nd-round pick that some didn't think would work out to the best back in the NFL was incredible. And in 2021, Henry was projecting to finish with another legendary season, but he got injured after 8 games. He was on pace for over 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns. Due to Derrick Henry's size and just how much of a workload this dude had from high school through college and through the pros to that point, people began to wonder how much he had left in the tank. After all, being as big as he was and the physical nature of the way he played the game, you just had to wonder. And turns out, he was just getting started. After recovering from his 2021 injury, Henry led the league in carries again in 2022 and 2023, and he went on to have excellent Pro Bowl seasons in those years. Then, in one of the most anticipated signings of the 2024 offseason, Henry joined forces with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, and this proved to be a deadly combination.
Henry's off and running. He's got 100 plus, and he's got his 2nd touchdown. King Henry.
With the best situation of his career, Henry at the age of 30 put up the highest yards per carry of his career, and he nearly became the first player ever to reach 2,000 yards for his 2nd time. It's worth noting that it would have been done in a 17-game season, but still. Even after that amazing regular season, Henry was even better in the playoffs, averaging 135 yards a game and 6.4 yards per carry, which makes it that much more heartbreaking that they didn't get him the ball more in that game versus Buffalo. Anyways, Derrick Henry is the first player in this video that's still active in the NFL. And at age 31, who's to say that he doesn't repeat and get his 2nd 2,000-yard season of his career? After all, he's in the best situation of his career, and it seems like Father Time's not catching up to him yet, so I guess we'll see. Now, Henry may have fallen just short of 2,000 yards in 2024, but Saquon Barkley was able to pull it off in one of the most impressive seasons by a running back many of us have ever seen.
Takes Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30.
He reached the 2,000-yard mark in 16 games and averaged a ridiculous 5.8 yards per carry. But beyond this, he truly saved his best for last in the playoffs, where he put up just a yard shy of 500 rushing yards in 4 games, and he made multiple game-breaking plays that helped Philly reach and win the Super Bowl. I mean, not only did he have the yards and production, but he has the craziest play any of us have seen in recent memory with the backwards hurdle. And like Derrick Henry, this dude proves that it really matters who's around you as a team, because he was not doing this kind of production in New York. He did have a couple good seasons, but nowhere near what he did in 2024. So anyways, Saquon is currently 28 years old, and alongside Derrick Henry, he's in one of the best situations in the NFL. As a fan of seeing history, I'm cheering for both of these guys to pull off the improbable 2,000-yard season for a second time.
Get into the eye here, Henry, sweet spot right off the gut. Derrick Henry running for the end zone, he's in! Here's Barkley, a little shovel, looking for an edge, gets it, Saquon Barkley, first down, Barkley, oh! Saquon, touchdown!